Have you ever wondered why some men seem to ignite a woman's desire almost effortlessly, while others, despite their best intentions, end up stranded in the friend zone or with a passion that fizzles out before it ever had a chance to burn? Maybe you've been that nice guy, the thoughtful one, the one who brings flowers, who listens, who offers his time and attention without asking for anything in return. You follow the advice, you try to be respectful, kind, available, and yet that undeniable sexual spark continues to elude you. It slips through your fingers like smoke, vanishing just when it seems closest. This is the quiet struggle of countless men. They believe desire is something you wait for, something you earn with enough patience, enough affection, enough self-sacrifice. But they've been misled. Because in truth, desire is not something you ask for. It is not something granted as a reward for good behavior. It is not about politeness. It is not about trying harder. It is something far more primal, something hidden deep in the subconscious, something that must be provoked, awakened, ignited, not with words, but with presence, energy, and intention. If you're still listening, it's because you feel it. You sense the truth, even if it makes you uncomfortable. There is a secret language beneath every romantic interaction, a hidden code that goes far beyond flowers and text messages, beyond cheesy pickup lines or perfectly timed compliments, the kind of desire that consumes, obsesses, possesses. It does not answer to logic. It answers to something far older than logic. It answers to your ability to awaken emotions in her that she cannot name, but that she feels in her body. A craving that comes not from what you do, but from what you are. And today, you're going to learn exactly how to tap into that. What I will show you is not about tricks. It's not about manipulating emotions recklessly. It's about understanding something deeper: the silent rules of female psychology. The 5 invisible triggers, psychological anchors, that, when used with strategic intent, will allow you to awaken and sustain a kind of desire she won't be able to ignore. We're not here to deceive. We're here to become aware, to move from being passive participants in the game of attraction to being masterful players, men who understand the terrain, who know the emotional and psychological mechanisms at work, and who use that knowledge with precision. Machiavelli once said, "Men are so simple and so prone to present needs that he who deceives will always find someone who will let himself be deceived." The message here isn't to manipulate, it's to understand how primal these needs really are, especially in the realm of desire, where logic takes a back seat to instinct, and instinct, if left unconscious, will lead to confusion, frustration, and endless disappointment. So if you're the kind of man who gives, who waits, who does everything right and still ends up overlooked, this is your moment to see what's been hidden from you all along. Let me take you into the mindset of a man who discovered the difference. He was not rich. He was not the most handsome. He didn't have the most athletic body. But the women most men dreamed about, the ones who seemed distant, untouchable, felt an almost irrational desire for him. Not because he pursued them, but because he didn't. He didn't flood them with compliments. He didn't bombard them with messages. He didn't try to prove his worth. He simply watched, observed, listened deeply, not just to what was said, but to what was left unspoken. He studied the pauses, the subtle reactions. He saw their hidden fears, their secret cravings. And when he spoke, it was with deliberate calm. Every gesture seemed infused with gravity, every glance carrying invisible tension. One day, someone asked him what his secret was. He smiled and said, "I don't try to make them like me. I try to resonate in the parts of them where they didn't even know desire could live. I'm not seeking their approval. I'm seeking their surrender." That wasn't bravado. That was clarity. Because this man had not learned seduction from YouTube channels or pickup forums. He had studied the mind. He had read Machiavelli, Jung, and the masters of strategy. He had understood a profound truth. There are places inside the female psyche that can't be touched by hands, nor reached by words. They respond only to presence, to mystery, to the kind of emotional charge that bypasses logic and goes straight to the body. This is why compliments don't work the way you think they do. This is why being nice isn't enough, because desire is not logical. It doesn't care about your resume. It doesn't care about your intentions. It cares about the emotional impact you leave, the impressions that linger. And the foundation of this impact is built on one critical truth. Predictability kills passion. When you are predictable, when you give everything up front, when you reveal your emotions too quickly, you become a solved equation. A man without mystery, a man who is easy to read, easy to figure out. And in that, you lose the very tension that fuels desire. Women, like all people, are psychologically drawn to what they cannot fully deke, what they cannot fully grasp. A man who is a complete open book becomes emotionally flat. He is understood too easily, and thus forgotten just as easily. Your first shift must be this. You must stop being a manual and start becoming a mystery. This is not about hiding who you are. It's about revealing yourself in layers, with intention. Allow her to wonder. Let her ask questions she doesn't dare voice. What is he thinking? What is he really feeling? What is he not saying? The lack of total access generates tension, and tension is the fuel of longing. A man who reveals everything leaves nothing to explore. But a man who carries depth, who chooses what to reveal and what to hold back, creates an emotional vacuum, one that pulls her in. She becomes invested in solving the puzzle, in getting closer, in understanding what's behind that calm gaze, that silence, that unexpected shift in tone. This mystery builds an emotional framework where desire begins to breathe. It's not about lying or pretending. It's about choosing your moves like a strategist. It's about crafting an experience of layered connection, where she never quite knows what's coming next. Where every conversation feels alive because you are not performing, you are leading. And that brings us to the second principle, the one that separates leaders from followers, men who evoke desire from those who quietly hope for it. Silent sexual authority. Silent sexual authority. This is not about aggression, not about raising your voice or asserting dominance through force. True authority doesn't shout. It whispers. It doesn't chase. It draws in. It doesn't demand. It invites with unwavering certainty. A man with sexual authority doesn't need to ask for attention. He becomes the focal point of it. His energy speaks before his mouth does. His posture, calm and deliberate. His eye contact, firm and unshaken. His presence, unbothered by silence. Most men, in an attempt to appear respectful or kind, fall into a trap of passivity. They wait. They hesitate. They expect the woman to lead every moment of intimacy, to make the first move, to give the green light, and in doing so, they signal indecision. They become followers. And in the world of desire, the follower does not create attraction. He reacts to it, often too late. There's a reason why confidence is universally attractive, because at a primal level, it signals capability, direction, safety. A woman senses when a man knows who he is and what he wants, and it creates a space where her own desire can unfold freely. This doesn't require dominance, but it does require direction. It requires you to stop waiting for permission and instead step into the interaction with quiet clarity. You do this through body language before you do it with words. Shoulders back, breath deep, eyes steady. When you speak, speak slowly. Don't race to fill silence. Let your tone be calm, low, unrushed. Don't ask questions that sound like you're seeking approval. Don't say, "Would you maybe want to go out sometime if you're free?" Say, "Let's check out that new place. I think you'll love it." And that's not a demand. It's confidence wrapped in invitation. And when you combine this presence with mystery, something powerful happens. She begins to feel the emotional gravity of your energy. She notices how comfortable you are in your own skin. She sees that you don't chase attention because you already have attention from yourself. And this kind of self-contained confidence is magnetic. It says, "I know who I am, I know what I want, and I don't need to prove it." And it's this exact kind of presence that activates something deep in her nervous system. She may not be able to explain it. She may not even understand it consciously, but her body responds. Her interest sharpens. Her thoughts linger on you longer than they should. And all of this happens before you even touch her. But to keep that fire alive, to build it into something that grows instead of fading, you must understand one more truth. Desire does not thrive in certainty. It thrives in pursuit. And pursuit only exists when there is something slightly out of reach. This is where the third pillar comes in: challenge and restraint. When you are too easy to have, you lose your value. It's not cruel. It's human nature. We don't treasure what is handed to us without effort. We chase what makes us reach, what makes us stretch, what we can almost grasp but not quite. That's the heartbeat of obsession. Most men make the fatal mistake of offering themselves like open treasure chests. They're eager to be chosen, eager to please. They respond instantly to texts. They compliment excessively. They make themselves emotionally available before any real connection has been earned. And in doing so, they communicate that their attention, their energy, their desire is cheap. And cheap things, no matter how genuine, rarely inspire lasting interest. You must reframe how you think about giving. You are not a gift to be given freely. You are a challenge to be earned. You are not there to impress her. You are there to invite her into a game of emotional and sensual tension. This doesn't mean being rude or aloof. It means being selective. It means allowing her to feel that your presence is something she must rise to meet, not something she can take for granted. When she flirts, don't respond like a starving man handed food. Hold your ground. Meet her energy with subtle curiosity, not eagerness. Let your gaze suggest more than your words say. Let the atmosphere thicken with tension. If she seeks validation, don't offer it on a silver platter. Make her earn it, not through games, but through investment. Let her work to pull more of you out. This restraint builds a kind of psychological hunger, a craving. Because when a woman feels like she hasn't fully figured you out, when she senses there are parts of you that remain just out of reach, she invests more, she thinks more, she imagines more. And imagination is the true birthplace of desire. What she imagines about you will always be more powerful than anything you could say or show directly. Which brings us to the fourth anchor, becoming the mirror for her unspoken fantasies. Most men focus only on the physical, the obvious. They try to arouse with touch or flattery or sexual talk. But real sexual magnetism begins in the mind, in the imagination, in the subtle projections we create without ever speaking explicitly. Women, like men, have fantasies they rarely admit, desires shaped by culture, by archetypes, by personal experience. The fantasy of the mysterious stranger. The powerful man with a soft edge. The leader who listens. The danger that chooses not to harm. These are primal images buried beneath her polished exterior. She may live like a good girl. She may follow every social rule. But deep down, in her hidden mind, She craves something she would never admit. Not vulgarity, not manipulation, but polarity. Contrast. The tension between the man who could dominate and the man who chooses instead to care. The man who could control but prefers to seduce. The one who sees through her surface and knows what she can't even articulate. To awaken that fantasy, you must learn to speak in suggestion, not declaration. You don't offer sex, you create tension. You don't describe what you want, you let her imagine it. Your voice, your eyes, your pauses, they do more than any line ever could. You don't become the fantasy by acting it out. You become it by becoming the canvas upon which her mind paints it. That is the art. You do not become the object of her desire, you become the trigger of it. You awaken the thoughts that no other man has stirred. And because those thoughts belong to her, she cannot reject them. She owns them. And so she owns the desire they create. And when she begins to project her fantasies onto you, when you become the embodiment of what she craves but cannot control, something irreversible happens. You no longer need to pursue her attention. It becomes automatic. She seeks you, thinks of you, finds herself wondering why the thought of you lingers in moments of silence. Desire becomes a loop, an emotional feedback system where every glance, every pause, every absence creates more longing than presence ever could. But even now, one final piece remains. The silent lever that separates those who leave a mark from those who fade away. Reward. Desire thrives in unpredictability. If she always knows when and how you'll respond, if she can anticipate your every move, you become emotionally flat. Predictable. And predictability, as you already know, is the slow death of longing. When the reward is constant, your attention, your validation, your sexual interest, it begins to lose its value. The brain adapts, the fire cools, and the chase ends not because she caught you, but because the game stopped being worth playing. You must learn the art of managing your reward. This doesn't mean being manipulative or withholding affection out of cruelty. It means creating contrast. You give, then you pull back. You ignite tension, then you let space do its work. You touch her mind, then vanish long enough for her to wonder when you'll return. Let her miss you. Let her reach for you. Let her feel the absence of what she once felt, and in that absence the craving returns, stronger than before. The mistake most men make is consistency without calibration. They believe being ever available shows loyalty, commitment, respect. But in reality, it signals lack of options, lack of mystery. It turns your presence into background noise. She knows you'll be there. She knows what to expect. And so she stops feeling that rush, that electricity, that I don't know what comes next, but I want more kind of thrill. But when you manage your attention with intelligence, when you selectively give her moments of intensity, followed by brief absences, you activate her brain's dopamine system. The reward becomes uncertain, intermittent, and therefore more addictive. She never knows exactly when the next wave of attention will come, and that keeps her invested, engaged, obsessed. And now you may ask, is this manipulation? Is it wrong to do this with awareness, to use psychology to create emotional experiences? The answer is no, because manipulation is about deception, about taking without consent, about exploiting someone's trust for your own gain, often to their detriment. What we're talking about here is awareness, mastery, influence built on understanding the truth of what already governs our behavior, whether we acknowledge it or not. She already responds to mystery. She already fantasizes about authority. She already craves what she cannot fully have. She already loses interest when something is too easy, too constant, too expected. These dynamics are not new. They are not something you invented. They are already there, shaping every interaction, every attraction. The only difference is now, you are awake to them. And in being awake, you have power. Not power to control, but power to direct, to design, to step out of reaction and into creation. You become the man who no longer waits for desire to show up at his door. You become the man who builds it, who crafts it like an artist, who steps into every interaction with the same precision and depth as a master strategist. And yes, it will unsettle some people. Yes, it may not fit into the polite molds of how we're told attraction is supposed to work, but this is not about social approval. This is about results. This is about energy. This is about connection that lasts not because of obligation, but because it lights something inside her that she didn't know she was waiting to feel. So let this be your turning point. Let this be the moment where you stop chasing desire and start generating it, where you stop being confused by her sudden loss of interest and start understanding what causes it, where you stop looking for permission to feel confident and instead create that confidence from within, and where you stop treating sex and intimacy as destinations to be earned and start treating them as expressions of the emotional blueprint you deliberately shape. To do that, you must stop trying to be liked. You must stop over-explaining, stop oversharing, stop apologizing for your own desire. Be deliberate, be selective, speak less, say more. Choose mystery over availability. Choose presence over performance. Choose intensity over frequency. Let her feel that when she is with you, she is not just talking to a man, she is entering a psychological experience. A space of depth, tension, and magnetism that she cannot find anywhere else, because no one else is awake enough to create it. And remember, the goal is not to become a performer. The goal is to become real, deeply rooted in who you are, calm, strategic, confident. You are not here to trick women into wanting you. You are here to stop blocking the desire they already have, but cannot access because of the noise, the masks, the games, and the flat, predictable energy most men give off. You are not here to impress her with status or wealth. You are here to move her, to impact her, to awaken her, and to leave a mark, not on her body but in her memory. Because the man who touches her emotions without even touching her skin, that's the man she will never forget. So be that man. Study yourself. Study her. Study the silence between your words. The way her pupils change when you speak in a lower tone. The way her breath shifts when you hold a gaze 1 second too long. The way her voice softens when you step just slightly closer. These are the signs, the signals, the unspoken message that create real sexual gravity. And the more you train yourself to read them, the more powerful you become. Not because you're chasing conquest, but because you are mastering connection. Strategic, conscious, emotionally intelligent connection. The kind of connection that overrides logic and speaks directly to the part of her that feels, that dreams, that desires. That is the art of attraction. Not tricks, not pressure, not performance, but the ability to build a moment, charged, unpredictable, unforgettable. And when you become the kind of man who knows how to do that, the world of desire changes forever. You stop asking, how do I make her want me? And start asking, how do I awaken something in her that no one else dares to touch? And in doing so, you don't just win attention. You earn fascination. You become the story she tells herself late at night, the man who made her feel something real. And that, more than sex, more than approval, more than anything, is what she truly wants. Someone who knows how to feel, how to lead, and how to awaken the fire that's been waiting in the dark.